It's Karen here from Pilates, and I'm just going to run through a few of my favourite glute and ab exercises with the Swiss ball. So if you've just dug your Swiss ball out from the garage, or you're dusting it off and finding that you want to make use of it, then here's some good so intermediate level ab and glute exercises. So we're going to start with just some ab work first. So I like to do these with my feet up against a wall just to make sure that they're not going to go anywhere. And unfortunately we haven't got a great setup for that to demonstrate, so I'll try and do what I can without the wall. But if you have got a wall, I'm not going to use my bookcase because that would be dangerous, but usually I would have myself positioned so that my bum's not quite on the top of the Swiss ball, just a little bit towards the front, and then the feet just planted up against the wall. Hopefully I can get enough grip just from the mat. Okay, so I've got a little bit of space behind me. Just going to start with a little bit of roll back with the abs. So we're breathing in, sitting up nice and tall, breathing out, tucking the tailbone under as we roll our lower back onto the ball. Breath in, and then breathing out as we curl back up. Breath in, and exhale again, rolling back. Breath in, and breathing out as you come back. Now, if you're feeling comfortable with these and you want to go back a little further into that extension, that's fine. We can reach back a little further, and then just make sure when we come up, chin to chest as we return. Rolling it down and curling it up. And again, just nice to work these sometimes because you're working to get a little bit more length into those abdominals. And usually we work the abs a lot in a short range and not so much into the extension range. So it's quite nice to do some where you're going back into that extension, working those abdominals in a longer position. Feel free to use your hands in behind your head if you feel like you just want a little bit of neck support as you come down, but try not to tug on the neck as you curl up. Right, then we're going to add in a little bit of obliques. So we're going to start with the hands just out in front again. We're going to roll back, so we're just into a slight round curve in the spine. And then as we exhale, we're going to reach out with the right hand, breathing in as we return to the center. Exhale as we reach out to the left and return to the center. Keep working into that rotation. Try to keep that tailbone tucked. Good way to think about these ones as you're rotating is just thinking about trying to bring your rib to the opposite hip as you rotate, making sure that you're leaning into the side that you're twisting towards, not leaning away. Keep going with your twist, but what often I see with people is that as they rotate, they lean away from the side that they're rotating towards and tend to use their back too much. So make sure that you're rotating towards that side and your rib cage is coming across the midline of your body and not going to the opposite side to where you're twisting. All right, lovely. And then after that, set back to center and we'll curl back up. All right, from there we're going to go over onto the knees and into some praying mantises. So these are really great for your shoulder control as well. So the further away the ball starts from you, the more challenging it is. Closer in is a little bit easier, and if you've got a big ball it's easier and a small ball is a bit harder. So we're going to start in a kneeling position, tuck the tailbone under, really draw the navel into the spine, and then we're just doing a little bit of a tip forward just to make sure that we are able to really get that tuck of the bottom. And then we're going to be breathing in as we tilt forward on the knees and breathing out as we return back up. So breathing in as we roll the ball away and breathing out as we return. So be careful not to leave your bottom behind or let your bottom sag into the ball too much. So keeping everything nice and stable, and just imagine as if you're a tree falling, and that when you're coming back up you are just doing that exact same thing in reverse. We're also trying to pay attention to the shoulders and make sure that the shoulders aren't shrugging as we roll out. And we're trying to keep that rib cage pulled in and up. One more. All right, then we're just going to go into a little bit of stirring the pot. So again, really nice for shoulder control, but also works those abs. So we're going to roll out, but don't take the arms as far this time. And then we're going to try to keep the body nice and steady. So glutes squeezed, tailbone tucked, and then we're going to do little stirring the pot motion with the arms. Just do 2 more in that direction. Again, try to keep the lower half of the body nice and steady, and then change direction. Last one, and then coming back to the center. Excellent. All right, now going into a real little quick burner of the glutes. So with this one, we're going to kneel sideways to the ball, and then you're just going to lean over the ball and extend the top leg out. Now you can drop right over and rest your head on your hand, or you can prop up onto your elbow. But ideally what we're aiming for is to make sure that in that side view that we're trying to just get the foot and the hip and the shoulders all in a nice straight line. We want to try to avoid the bum being stuck back behind. So trying to really push the hips forward nice and straight as we do these ones. And get keeping that, so you shouldn't just feel the top hip, you should also feel the underneath hip, and then we're just lifting that top leg up and then back down. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Out to lift and into lower. Again, you should just feel that working just up in the top of the hip and the glute. Keep going. Make sure we're still drawing the navel to the spine, and keep tucking your tailbone under, and keep thinking about just thrusting the pubic bone forward just to make sure that you're keeping the bottom from poking out. All right, now we're just going to hold up there. Keep the tailbone tucked and pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Good. Excellent. On to the other side. This is where it gets tricky because now both sides are going to start to really feel it. So again, line up on the ball, get into your position, look down the line, again tuck the tailbone, thrust the pubic bone forward a little bit, and then keeping that steady, abs engaged, lifting and lowering. Lift and lower. And really think about lengthening when you lift. It will just help to reduce some of that real bite if you get that length, but it also will help you to activate the deeper hip stabilizers. So getting into your glute med and your glute minimus with these ones. Again, re-tuck the pelvis every now and again. Make sure that that tailbone hasn't slipped out behind you and you're not starting to sag through the hips. Again, it really depends on the size of your ball, whether or not you're better to lie down flat or prop up on the elbow. Again, sometimes if you're up on the elbow, if you are a bit stiff in the hips, it's a little bit trickier. If you lie down flat, you might get a little bit more room into it, but you also might tend to stick your bum out a little. All right, now last one, then we're going to hold it up there. Keep tucking the bottom and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Excellent. Now I like to just give them a little bit of a stretch out after that. So nice way to do that is just to sit with the legs cross-legged, and then just use the ball and just lean forward. Try to relax the hips and the glutes. Use your breath. All right, and then just come up and just change whichever leg was in front. And then again, just a little stretch forward. All right, and now it's into a little bit of obliques. So I really love these side over obliques. So it can be a little tricky for the balance if it's the first time doing them. So the way I like to do them is just to get, again, next to a wall, and then you want to put your top leg back and your bottom leg forward, so that you're in a little bit of a split stance with your legs, and then you should be able to just balance on your hip. Now, hopefully you can balance there without holding the ball. If you can't do that, then this exercise may not be for you at this point in time, but if you're happy to balance there, it's okay to have a little bit of a bend in the knees if you need to as well, especially if you are a bit tight through the front of your hips, then bending that top knee might be useful. From here, we're going to wrap I'm on my left hip at the moment, so I'm going to wrap my left hand into my body, right hand up. We're breathing in as we stretch over the ball, and then breathing out as we come back up nice and tall. Breathing in as we lengthen, and exhale as we return. Making sure that we're focusing on our obliques here, so we're thinking about, again, tucking the bottom, drawing the ribs to the hips, to focus on using the abdominals and not too much into the lower back. Again, nice in and lengthen. Yeah, make sure you're always thinking about lengthening. Don't just sort of collapse onto the ball. Imagine like that ball is scalding hot and you're trying to make sure that you stay off it as you stretch over. Lovely. We'll do 2 more. And on the last one, holding for some pulses, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and return. Good. On to the other side. The other side I'll just do over here for a change of view. So this time I've got my left leg back behind me and I'm on my right hip. My right foot is out in front. I'm hugging my right hand in, left hand's coming up. I'm breathing in as I stretch over. Exhale and return. Breathing in, lengthening over. Exhale and return. Again, making sure that I don't collapse onto the ball, trying to stay lifted up and away from the ball, tucking the bottom, drawing the navel to the spine, each lift. Again, navel to the spine. Let's go another couple there. And when we come into those pulses, just take them slow, keep the length for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep tucking the bottom. 3, 2, 1, and return. Excellent. All right, and then from there, just doing a little side stretch after those ones. So just sitting on the ball, and you want your feet just hip distance apart, hands down beside. Breathing in as we lengthen, one hand up, exhale and stretch to the side. A little bit of rotation. And return to the other side, lift, stretch, and rotate, and back, and return. Excellent. All right, and then from there, just the last glute exercise we're doing, which is just lying over the ball, doing some frog leg lifts. So we're going to be coming back and rolling forward. And once your hands are just touching the floor, you're just going to bend your knees, bringing your feet together, knees turned out, squeezing the sit bones together as we push the feet up towards the ceiling. Now your knees will straighten a little bit, but don't think about straightening the legs, just focusing on the squeeze and the lift coming from the glutes. And 3 more. And then hold and little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Excellent. Cool, and there we go. It's just a quick little ab and glute workout for you on your dusty Swiss ball.